What's going on, guys? Welcome back. More commentary for you tonight. Do me a favor, take a moment, hit the like button, subscribe button. As always, criticism in the comment section. Run over to Twitter, give me a follow. Shutdown Safety is my username. For the second time, pleased to be joined by Coach William McCarthy, the coach of the Salt Lake Screaming Eagles. Now, a lot has changed since we last talked. You guys had an actual open tryout October 22nd in Dallas. You had signed some players before then. So you want to go through kind of the nature of the changes that have taken place since we talked about 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, we had our tryout in Dallas. It was a great showing. I think there was about 17 guys there, so we were a little late getting it announced, but we had a good turnout. We had a couple guys that had some tie-ins with the Cowboys that were down there working out, so we were able to offer out contracts. I believe there were 6 guys that we offered contracts to. Still waiting to see what's going on with those guys and touching base with them. And one of the things that we've done that's unique from some of the other organizations that are doing tryouts is we actually videoed everything. So you can go on our webpage. If you go to the tryouts, there's actually a link where it says Dallas Combine results. Anybody can click on there. They can see the results from all the guys that were there. And they can also see the multiple camera angles that were filming everything. And I think that's the big thing that's going to separate us from everybody else is that guys are seeing the legitimacy of the film that's being put out there. They can see their results. They're able to share with other teams and get that aspect out there. As far as guys that we've looked at and signed with the roster, we'll just kind of work our way through it. We've got Rudy Johnson, quarterback from Winston-Salem State, athletic kid that can do a lot of things. Verlon Reed, quarterback wide receiver, was at the Ohio State, and then went to Findlay, was at Ohio State as a wide receiver, and ended up going to Findlay and playing quarterback up there. So he's someone that's very dynamic, can play a couple different positions. And in the indoor game, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for a guy that can do a couple different things and maybe swing over there and play a little bit on the defensive side of the ball. We've got Elliot Dolsine. He's a linebacker. He lives locally here in Salt Lake City. Played at Humboldt State and was also at Malone. Alex Lamb was an offensive lineman that played at Weber State, was also on Team USA. Devin Mahina from Brigham Young University. We've talked about him. He's a big kid. Got Alex Wheat, who's from Utah State and also from down at Coastal Carolina. Alex actually played with the Colorado Ice last season. They're Crush now, but the Colorado Crush. Mitch Scarban, a kid out of a small Division III school with Wisconsin Lutheran, but went to camp with the Green Bay Packers, so we're excited to see what he can do. Derwin Lauderdale was actually one of the kids from the tryout. Went to Southwest Baptist and did some good things down there. Had an injury while he was at Southwest Baptist, so we were curious to see what he looked like, but looked really good at the combine down there in Dallas. He's a shifty kid that can do some things in space. We've already talked about Antion McBee. He's the long-rangey free safety that we got. And the last one we have on our roster right now is Donnie Duncan, who played at New Mexico. And Donnie's a good cornerback that can play man-to-man. He's not afraid to press and not afraid to get up at the line of scrimmage and play physical with some guys.
And you went through those quick. I'll put a link down in the description to the website. You guys have actually done an amazing job updating the roster with Twitter handles, with Facebook links, and with individual highlights of each player. So if you recognize some names or you want to question, because, some people may think Rudy Johnson, the running back for the Bengals, not the quarterback from Winston-Salem.
Yeah.
It's not the same person, trust me.
No, different size. Our Rudy's a little bit smaller than that Rudy.
With the tryouts, you've actually expanded a little bit. November 20th, you guys are going to go over, and you've got a great relationship with D1, which is, really one of the premier, athletic corporations, I guess, as far as working out goes. They do amazing stuff. You've never heard of D1, give them a look. They're in a lot of cities. They do a lot of talented athletes there. So you guys are going to be over in Columbus with the same exact program, open tryouts. What are we focusing on now? Just essentially, I know internally we've been looking a lot at offensive line because that seems to be the concern. But I guess as far as the team is shaping up, you literally started from scratch. 3 weeks ago, 0 players. Realistically, how good do you feel about where you are position-wise with the team that's being built?
First, D1 is a great facility. They do work with athletes that are NFL caliber. They also work with high school. They have some little guys out there, little gals out there working on the field last time when they were down there in Dallas. So they're in a lot of different places, and they do a lot of good things for everybody. It doesn't matter if you're aspiring NFL or just trying to get back in the swing of things. They're just going to do a little bit different workout. So they have some great facilities. Like we talked about, Columbus, Ohio, I'm anxious to get up there and see what they've got. We're always looking for talent and looking for the best guys that we can find. I hate to say that we'll find somebody better than what we've got, but that's what you're always looking for. You're looking to find somebody. If you find somebody better, it's kind of the nature of the business. You're looking to get the best 40 guys you can get out there. So if we go to the tryout and find 20 guys that are great, and we'll take those 20 and I'll manipulate the roster to get them on there. As far as putting it together, it's a work in process. It's always changing. The roster's never set until February or until January when they actually show up. So it's always kind of wait and see. You get guys signed, but you're still hoping that they all show up. And every once in a while, there's a guy or two that can't make it or whatever the situation is. So it's a building process. You talked about different positions, wide receiver, DBs. Those are always the easiest guys to find, and O-line, D-line. Those are the hardest positions to go out there and find. Those big bodies don't want to play anymore. So I think a lot of teams struggle with that aspect of trying to find offensive linemen and trying to find guys that are still interested in playing because there's so few guys that are able to play that position and be successful at it.
And of course, if you didn't have enough pressure on you yet, you do know the schedules came out, and I believe you were actually going to be opening the season this year for the Indoor Football League, correct?
We are. I'm excited about that. We're going to start it off right here in Salt Lake City and show everybody what this is all about.
Now, obviously, we had talked a little bit last time about some changes with the AFL. Those changes have kind of came a little bit more clear, and we've seen the acquisition of some arena teams into the Indoor Football League. So with that being said, do you feel now that the IFL is positioned to be the premier Indoor Football League?
I think it's definitely it has that we have that opportunity, and I think it depends on who you ask and who they're involved with, whether they say the arena is the premier or IFL is premier. Arena was always kind of thought of to be a little bit more premier just because they were paying their players a little bit more than what the IFL was paying, and that's kind of the viewpoint that they're better because they pay more. And in reality, the talent level is comparable. Everybody has guys that can play, and everybody has guys that compete. The AFL has a different kind of athletes that they look for, both on the offensive line, defensive line, and even at receiver DB than what the IFL uses. So I don't know that anyone is either better or worse than the other. I think we're all in the same boat of we're trying to get these guys opportunities. We're all trying to get these guys that CFL or that NFL look, and however it comes from and wherever it comes from. I think everybody's main purpose, whether they're AFL or IFL or any of these other leagues that are out there. I think everybody's trying to get athletes an opportunity to go out there on the field and get some more film and get that opportunity to go sign a contract.
And as you mentioned, definitely a lot of film put down at the last combine. Really impressed with what you guys were able to put together to kind of help these athletes. Even like you said, if it doesn't work with what you have, at least now they've got more footage and film out there, and really look forward to what's going to happen in Columbus. And I guess just only a couple more weeks' time. So as always, Coach, I appreciate your time. We'll obviously have you on frequently throughout the season before it comes as we make some changes. And everyone interested, just head over to SaltLakeStreamEagles.com if you want to become involved. Like I said, links in the description. We're doing the best we can, a fan-run team, and obviously things are falling into place pretty quickly for us.
I appreciate your time, and thanks for having me on. Look forward to talking to you this year.